to Mama's Best. You've been seeing that gorgeous pie that I've been putting up on Facebook. Well, today we're going to make it. I'm going to show you how to make it. I've got lots of tips that's going to help you be able to make a delicious, beautiful chocolate meringue pie. The first step is we always wash our hands really good first before we start. Okay, now we're going to make the crust. I'm going to show you how to flute the crust. I'm using the Kroger brand that you just roll out. You can make your own pie crust if you want to, but these work out really well. So what I do is, first of all, is I fold the crust over. Because you see, fold that overage over like this. And I'll show you what we do to make it look a little nicer. Just do that all the way around, and we mash it between our fingers to kind of make a little bit of a flute there in it. Now, if you have a way that you normally do your pie crust, that's fine. This is just how I do mine, and it works out well. So you just keep doing that until you go all the way. Once you have your pie crust fluted, what I do is I take a fork and I prick it all the way around the bottom and on the sides, and that helps the pie crust not balloon up or expand out, because you want to keep it as flat as you can. Now, if you have time, which normally I don't, it's best if you can refrigerate your pie crust for a little while before you bake it. After you've fluted it, I would say put it in the refrigerator for about 30 or 40 minutes. But today, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go on and make our pie. What that does is it allows the shortening in the pie crust to harden, and it will cook slower, and it won't pull away from the pan as much. But I think we'll be okay with this. Okay, once you have fluted your pie crust and pricked it with a fork, you'll need to make sure that your oven is preheated to 450, and it takes about 10 to 12 minutes to bake the pie crust. So we're ready to do that. All right, to go on top of Poppie's favorite chocolate cream pie, we have to make a meringue. And I want to show you, there are a couple of ways that you can separate the eggs, but the main thing is don't get any yellow into your egg whites, because they will not beat up like you need them to. So there's two ways to do it. Of course, first of all, you can do it, just separate it like this, or you can take your hand and just let the whites run through like that. Now we're ready to make the filling for Poppie's favorite chocolate cream pie. And I am sifting my dry ingredients together. That is 1.5 cups of white sugar. I'm going to add to that 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. That's the thickening we'll be using. And 3 tablespoons of cocoa. We're going to sift that together just to get all the lumps out. Once we have the dry ingredients sifted, we're going to add 5 egg yolks. We've already separated them from our egg whites, because we're going to use those whites to make that big, beautiful meringue. We're going to put 2.5 cups of whole milk. I've already got that measured out for us. And 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. And I really think that the whipping cream is what makes this pie so delicious. So we're going to mix all that together really well with our whisk before we take it to the heat. We also want to put a dash of salt. Now we're going to move to the heat, and the main thing here is that that we stir it constantly. If you leave it alone, it's going to stick or burn. Now at first it will look like just really runny pudding, but what we want to do is we want to get it to a consistency where it is a really thick, almost like peanut butter, before we take it off of the heat. And I started out on like a medium high, but you can gauge that for yourself. It takes approximately 15 to 20 minutes to get to the consistency that we need so that it will slice well. So just be patient and keep stirring. This pie is not an easy pie to make, but once you master it, you will really enjoy it. It's delicious and it's pretty. So just hang in there, be patient. The other thing that's a tip is that you want to use a heavy pan. A thin aluminum pan is not good because the bottom will get too hot. This is a very heavy stainless steel pan, and that's one of the tricks to not burning your filling. Test to see if the thickness is where we need it to be. You can take about a teaspoon out and put it in a dish and just let it cool. You want it to be where it will kind of pile up a little bit when you use it like that. Is right. When it piles up like that, you'll know that after it cools for 4 hours, it will be sliceable. Tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Now I like to turn my heat off when I add the vanilla because I feel like if you cook it while the vanilla is in there, it tends to make the flavor not as strong. So I turn my heat off and then just stir it well. Continue to stir it and get it all incorporated with the butter and the vanilla incorporated into the mixture. All right, we're ready to put our filling into our baked pie crust. So here we go. It looks really runny, but as it cools, it will thicken, and it will take all of 4 hours for this to cool and thicken up. We're going to put our meringue on in just a minute, and I have a real good tip about how to stop your pie from weeping. Now, a lot of people won't know what weeping means, but if this trick that I have keeps you from having that little syrupy mess that comes in the bottom of your pie after you've started slicing it. For years, I would say, why is this happening? I couldn't find a cookbook anywhere that would tell me how to stop the weeping. And my mother has a friend who loves to bake, and she told me a real tip, so I'll share that with you in just a minute. The filling has been cooked, the pastry has been cooked, and it's filled with the filling. Now we're going to add a beautiful meringue. And I have some tips on that. You want your egg whites to be at room temperature. They beat up a lot better if they are. Also, this is 5 because we used 5 yolks in the pie. So we're using 5 whites to make the meringue. So we're going to start out and we're going to beat these to a soft peak before we add any sugar to them. Pour them in. Okay, now we're at soft peaks with our meringue. So we're going to start slowly adding 5 tablespoons of granulated sugar, and I also include 2 tablespoons of meringue powder. Now you can get this at any place that sells Wilton stuff, and what it does, it just makes it puffier and makes it hold up better. So I use this each time. Okay, and you beat your meringue until it forms very solid peaks. See how solid that is? And it'll make a beautiful meringue for your pie. I put my meringue on is I start on the edges and I seal the edge of the pie to the crust. Seal the meringue to the crust. smooth it around. Take it all the way around till you smooth that meringue right to the edge, and it kind of seals it. Makes a beautiful meringue, a beautiful pie, and so, so good. I believe we have it. Now this goes in the oven, preheated at 400 degrees for 5 minutes. Then you turn your oven off, but leave the pie in for 15 more minutes. And what that does is it not only browns the meringue, but it sets the filling. If you don't leave your pie in the oven for that 15 minutes to let it basically set up, you'll get what's called weeping in your pie plate. There'll be almost like a clear, almost like a syrup that comes from the chocolate of the pie. Now, leaving it in the oven after you've baked it for 5 minutes, and it'll get all nice and brown. Leave it 15 minutes, set it out, and let it cool. Then you shouldn't have any weeping. I found this out from a friend of my mother's who shared with me, and it has made all the difference in the world in my pies. So try it and see if it works for you. And the main thing you want to remember is once you get your pie out, once that 15 minutes is over, you've baked it for 5 at 400 and you've left it in the oven for 15, get it out and let it cool for at least 4 hours, because if you try to cut it while it's warm, it's going to run. But if you'll leave it for 4 hours, you should have a beautiful pie that will slice well. Well, this is the finished product, Poppie's favorite chocolate cream pie. Looks delicious and tastes delicious. I hope you'll try it. Let's look at our Bible verse for the fall. We're doing this every day because we want you to memorize this verse. Just get it in your mind. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. Psalm 118:1. And we're using that verse for the fall because we want everyone to try to memorize that one. It's easy and the kids can even learn it. So I hope you'll try to put it to memory. Be sure and come back and watch us the next time, because we've got some good stuff coming your way. You know, I had put a video out saying that we might not be able to post today because I was having my kitchen painted. Well, thanks to Kenneth McCaskill, who's doing the painting, he's with K&M Paint Service. They got it all finished, so I was able to get this meringue pie all ready for you, and they did a wonderful job. So go out on Facebook and like his site. He is really a good painter. They were so meticulous about keeping the house clean and trying not to track in, and they painted, and it just looks beautiful. So I told him I was going to let y'all know that he got this done in time for me to get this pie out on Facebook. So I hope you'll visit his site.